Hey, it's Shannon from iHeartRadio Canada, joined by Lights. Hello, how are you?
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to I was just talking about this with you, but I'm just excited to be talking about stuff again. I've been on my butt on my couch for like 2 years,
Right.
working on everything that's starting to come out, and now being able to even sit here talking with you is exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Especially after working through so many things. And it seems like you always do have like so many different projects on the go. So how do you find that you like prioritize those or go in certain directions of different projects that you're working on?
It's chaos. My
Yeah.
mind is chaos at all times. I do like it is exactly that. Like in my mind, I'm like, ooh, I need to work on my comic. Oh, and I need to like work on this track, and I need to work on this side project. Oh, and I need to build out this Instagram page, and I need to make this video. And there's always this back burner of like all these items, and I get to wake up and be like, I'm going to do that one, and that one today, and I work on that, and eventually it just kind of gets done. It's very chaotic though.
Yeah, I think I feel like I'm the same way where I like can't work on one thing too long. I have to like do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then like eventually all of them get done. So it's kind of like,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
like a little bit of everything. And if I spend too much time on one thing, I've neglected the rest. So it's like just like those people, I feel like those people who sit on this side of the street and they're the one man band and they're just
Yeah.
like doing all this stuff. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I guess you're getting it done. Sounds
Yeah,
like music.
totally. But you put it all together and then it creates something beautiful, like everything you
Yeah.
come up with. So that's perfect. I love
Yeah.
that. Do you feel like do you ever run out of like inspiration or motivation or creativity? Or do you find that you can pretty much because you can go all over the place that you can find it?
Well, I found that not all of it's creative work. Like
Yeah.
some of it's not. Some of it's more basic day-to-day stuff, or some of it is mindless coloring of a page, or like maybe something is finishing a mix. So like it's not necessarily always creative work, so that when you're working on that stuff, you can like build up your excitement to do something creative, and it's really rewarding. And then you use up your creative juices, and you go back to something that's maybe a bit less creative. So I guess that's part of finding the balance of, as this all this stuff kind of takes practice, learning how to juggle this chaos. But yeah, it's not all creative. So I found a way to spread it out
Mhm.
in a way that works for me. But I have gone through periods where I'm not as creatively inspired or motivated. And it's so frustrating as a creative person. I'm sure you've experienced it too. Like, you're like, where's all my ideas? What's my next thing going to look like? I don't have any thoughts of like how I want this whole thing to feel. And that's like a very hollow place in my life. So I like to keep even like Pinterest boards, or like always keep looking around at different places and making note of all the things I like, so that I'm constantly in a state of like being exposed to new things for that reason.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, you seem to be able to just like experiment in so many different genres of music. It doesn't always seem like you're just tied to one genre. Have you ever felt like you needed to fit yourself into one particular box?
No, definitely not. I
No.
appreciate that you noticed that, because I think it's boring to be one thing all the time, and especially when I'm doing collabs or like featuring on stuff. I like to specifically work on stuff that's outside of what I normally do, what Lights normally is, for that reason. So I can try new things. And I'm like, it's like just fusing different worlds together is the best part about art, finding this balance of creativity with other people and letting that inspire your craft. And you're amazed at how the product turns out.
Yeah, totally. And we were talking off camera about how we have mutual friends who are the Beaches, and you jumped on one of their tracks.
Yeah.
So how did that all
Yes.
come to be? Like, how did those conversations happen?
I just got an email. I mean, I've known them for like here and there for years, just being in the Canadian music industry. Haven't like fully hung with them, but then I got an email from them being like, "Yo, we're like putting this, like this is our next song. We're gonna put out like a couple different versions of it. You want to do something?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And so they sent me the tracks, and within a week, I just wrote a bridge and didn't know if they'd like it, but it was super fun to do, because again, it's a different thing than I normally get to do, and they loved it. And then we just started hanging out a whole bunch, and it was just the best. Like, they're so fun. We've had some great times. We like I went to San Diego at the end of the summer to watch a show and shoot a music video, and hung with them there. And we just ended up doing tattoos in the hotel room all night and scootering around town. And that just led to this like lovely, wholesome friendship with all the girls. And
I love that. That's so sweet. I know. And yeah, you like tattooed 2 of them. So they have that with them. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really fun. They were all drawing on each other and then I would tattoo it. And it was this very collaborative effort.
Nice. That's so sweet. I also love the song Real Thing. I think it's so good with Elohim. How did that collaboration come to be? Can you tell me about that?
We met at Faded, which is like a festival out here, and I was performing with Felix Cartel, and he's like, that's Elohim over there. Let's go say hi. So we went over and chatted with her, and that was kind of our first introduction. This was probably summer of like 2019. And then of course pandemic happens, and I'm like, everyone's losing their minds. I'm like, well, you know what, I've been working on music for a couple of years and been really stuck at home, obviously working on it. So I'm like, I'm gonna do one writing trip in LA, and I'm gonna hit up a couple people I know who are willing to work with people, because some people weren't writing in person during pandemic. And she was one of them. I said, we need to hang out. We need to write something and just mess around. And her vibe is so great. So went to LA, wrote with a couple of friends, and she was one of the sessions. We had the best time. She's like super, like almost prodigious on synths and with sounds and on piano, and she just kind of comes up with ideas in the moment. So it was just real vibe track. And then just like came up with this really beautiful vibey thing that I sort of took and finished at home and recut my vocals at home and switched up the drums, added some guitars, and then I'm like, this is going on my record. This is dope. And that was the video we actually shot when we went down to San Diego in California. We shot that video just like guerrilla style out with like, this is the video it needed to be. Or I called it Wedding Thrashers. I was like, I'm gonna thread some wedding dresses and we're gonna go on skateboards. I was on a longboard and she's on her cruiser and just vibing. It's just like it's the kind of collab you want in music, because it's effortless and what music should be, fun.
Totally. Yeah. And the video totally matches the vibe of the song too. I feel like you mastered
right
that.
Yeah, sometimes just close your eyes and know.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Lights, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Shannon.